Good morning. I woke up this morning thinking about a conversation I had with my hairdresser yesterday about how we missed brunch. And, I was also feeling a little pouty about the fact that I haven't had a party in over a year. So I thought, well, here, I'm going to make Bloody Marys. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm not going to be drinking Bloody Marys all morning. I've got a lot to do. I have to unpack these boxes and fold a bunch of laundry and, Saturday kind of stuff. But the truth is, when I make Bloody Marys for like a brunch party, I make them the night before. And the reason for that is not just to be prepared. It's because they taste a lot better if you make them in advance. The alcohol goes away. And the spices kind of all integrate. I mean, the alcohol doesn't go away. It doesn't taste as strongly alcoholic. In fact, there have been times when people have thought that there was no vodka in the Bloody Marys and started adding it and got really drunk, and I felt terrible. But they're nicer that way. So a little less strong. So I'm going to make some Bloody Marys. I'm also going to make these little ham sandwiches. I'm going to have those for lunch. Don't worry, I'm going to have my pate tomorrow. But I'm going to have some little ham sandwiches and crudités and a Bloody Mary for lunch. And it's going to be a party for one, I guess. Anyway, so let's start on our Bloody Marys. So I make them in this 4-cup measure, mostly just because it's easy, because our proportions are 1 cup of vodka to 3 cups of tomato juice. Let me just put on my glasses so I make sure I see it properly, since it is 8 o'clock. And I have been listening to my dog hoot at the window since 6 because he has discovered that there is a bird's nest in one of the gutters, which is thrilling for everybody. Okay, a cup of vodka. Okay. And 3 cups of tomato juice. And you can use whatever kind of tomato juice you want. I know some people like that clam juice stuff, and some people like the spicy, and sometimes I use V8 juice when I'm feeling healthy. This is just regular tomato juice. And and people have strong preferences about their Bloody Marys. As I say, I pre-mix them, but I always put stuff out because people like to mess with it. There's horseradish. I'm not trying to drink cocktail sauce here. I know a lot of people like really, really spicy Bloody Marys. I just want it to be a pleasant drinking experience. So I use a little less than a tablespoon of horseradish. And we're going to put some, see again, here's the Old Bay. I'm trying to look for the spoon hole, and there isn't one. The new container's open all the way. I use about a tablespoon of Old Bay. And I have celery salt, which, Old Bay has celery in it, but celery salt's funny because it's not celery seeds. It's actually like ground up dried celery with salt in it. And a couple dashes of this hot sauce. And then I also like the Chipotle hot sauce. So, I don't know, is that going to be like the tahini? Nope, got it open. A couple dashes of that. And a few dashes of Worcester. 4 or 5. And we have our little lemon juicer. I'm going to do the juice of half of a lemon. So too, if you're batching these, this is how I make them even when I'm making a lot, because I'm trying to keep track of how much I have. And then, if I am making a lot and they're for a party, I just pour them into the empty tomato juice bottle at the end. You can also use those glass milk bottles. Those are great for stuff like this. I keep a few rather than taking them back. So that goes right in there. And you know what? I left the pepper on the table. Hold on. I'm gonna need these for the ham sandwiches too, so I figured I might as well go get it. Pepper. And that's it. Now I'm going to give this a good whisking. And it just so happens that this time, since I'm just making one batch, because, I mean, how many Bloody Marys does one person need? This Pyrex thing has a lid. I'm just going to put it in the fridge like that until, you know, it's time to take a break in the afternoon. Now, the other thing we're going to make are these little ham sandwiches. And my friends, a couple friends of mine from college, Cassie and Adrian Ross, if some of you all know them, used to make these for parties, and this is sort of a riff on their recipe. And again, this is something that I make in advance because it's a butter mustard mixture, and sometimes if you melt the butter in advance, and then it sort of you mix everything together, and then it doesn't harden, but you know, it kind of gets opaque again. It's still spreadable. You just leave it out overnight, covered. But I frequently leave butter out overnight just in case I feel like making cookies, because you can't speed up butter softening. So anyway, so I have some very soft butter here that I'm going to put in a little bowl, and some regular Dijon mustard. I like the seedy kind for sandwiches, but that's not what we're gonna do here. Use a good couple tablespoons of mustard. And we already have our Worcestershire out. I'll put about a tablespoon of that in. And some pepper. And we also want to cut up a shallot about that size. You know, I'm just making one package of these, and it's probably more butter than I need, more spread than I need, but you can always save it and use it on a sandwich. It's really good on sandwiches. It's good on ham sandwiches and turkey sandwiches and roast beef sandwiches alike. But again, I really like shallots for stuff where, especially when it's not going to get cooked, because they're thinner. And you don't have those big chunks of onion, which I know I should be a little bit more of a grown-up about, but they kind of upset my stomach too. And the shallots, again, since they're thinner and they have smaller layers, they're easier to get very small. You know, because they start out half the width. And you just kind of want to, I slice them first and then, you know, rock my knife back and forth over them. And then I also, it's, the reason I was able to make these ham sandwiches today is that I had one of those little small, like, dinner ham kinds of things that I had with the kids for dinner one night this week. So if you have some leftover ham, this is always a good way to use it. I think this is kind of how this ended up happening. You know, you have a Christmas ham and then you have a New Year's Day party, and you always have ham left over. It doesn't seem to matter how many people you have around, unless it's a party of like 100 people. And then sometimes when I have a party of 100 people, I make 2 hams. I don't know when that's going to happen again. I mean, I miss you guys. I wish we could have a party. And then the last thing is poppy seeds. I don't know if there are enough in this bag, so I brought out another bag. Usually use about a tablespoon, and I'm just going to kind of mash this up, and we'll see what it looks like. But then sort of the next part of this method is that you get your little party rolls and you spread some of this on each side. and you put some ham in there, like 1 or 2 thin slices. And then I make these little foil packets. And you know, the rolls there are 12, there are 24 in this, so there are 12 on each layer. And I usually make a packet of about 12, and then you can heat them up in the oven. They're really good because the butter melts into the bread. And you know, you can make them in advance and keep them in your fridge, and they heat up better if you take them out a little bit in advance to come up closer to room temperature. And you're just trying to get them warm because everything's already cooked, you know. And I've brought these like to a tailgate in a soft-sided cooler, and they stayed warm all morning if you just open one packet one foil packet at a time. So this is kind of what it should look like. It's this nice paste, and then I'm gonna assemble a few of these and have them in my back pocket for lunch because as I said, I've got a lot to do. I'm trying to get rid of this box island, and the box that my kids lean their chairs back into at dinner, and the box in the family room that's attracting all kinds of school art that I feel like I'm never going to be able to get rid of. And that's it. You know, have some crudités. Put on some big band music. Sashay around your house. Have a lovely Saturday afternoon. Bye.